This is a story about a man named Dana. I met Dana about half a year after I started working at the restaurant I'm currently working at. I hadn't met him before, so I didn't know if he was a new hire or an old hire. I go up to him and I ask him, "Hey, are you new here?" His first words to me are, "No, I'm one of the old people back from the olden days." At that moment, I knew one thing: this guy was weird, but I liked him. Over the years, I got to know him better. We'd spent about 2 years working together. Sometimes as few as 1 day a week, sometimes as many as 4 days a week, we worked together. He would often bartend. I closed, so I got to spend a lot of time at the restaurant, a lot of time with him. About a year ago, he had to withdraw. Mind you, he didn't need this job at all. This is mostly for his personal travel money. He had a job with the state government doing surveys and stuff like that. But he wanted to travel the world, and he did. He went to all sorts of countries: Colombia, Peru, Ecuador, places in Europe like Prague and the Czech Republic, even the Ukraine before the situation there got super dicey. He would always bring things back, like candies or chocolate or coffee, just an overall good guy. But about a year ago, he had to pull out for personal reasons, he said. About a week later, he showed up for his final shift, and he told us all that the reason he was pulling out was because he had colorectal cancer. And that was hard to hear, because this guy, who has been pretty much a cornerstone of our restaurant, apparently since it had opened back in 1987, and now he just had to pull out for health reasons. A couple months ago, he came in. I saw him, and it had been a while since I'd seen him, and I asked, "Hey, Dana, how are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I feel terrible. I'm constantly tired. The chemotherapy sucks, but I'm making do." 2 weeks ago, he was admitted to the hospital. Up until this point, he had lived as normal a life as one could with colorectal cancer, and while taking care of their mother, who had also been suffering from health issues. Hell, I went to dinner with a guy, with a close friend that we both worked with, and both of our managers. And we all went out to a nice restaurant and we spent a couple hours together and we talked, and it was as if everything was back to normal. And I liked that. I enjoyed that moment. I was fortunate enough on New Year's Day to go visit him in the hospital. And I asked him how he was doing, and he said, "Oh, I'm doing all right, as well as I can be. I'm feeling stronger every day, but I'm still not to the point where I can function by myself. So they're going to hold me here until I'm to that point." As I was leaving, I said, "Hey Dana, I'm glad I got to see you. Take care of yourself." That was on a Tuesday. 2 or 3 days later, he took a very bad fall, and as a result, he was admitted into hospice. I was able to visit him Saturday. The same friend that I had dinner with a few months ago, with the group of people, drove down. 7-hour drive. Normally a 7.5 hour drive. He made it in 6 because the word got out that Dana was not doing well. He visited Dana on Friday night. As fate had it, I was able to get Saturday night off ahead of time for an unrelated reason. But those plans went out the window. I had the chance to visit Dana, and he was not great. He was barely responsive. The only words I heard him say in the maybe hour and a half I was there were "ow, ow, 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 ow." He felt a sudden jolt of pain, jolted upwards, opened his eyes briefly, and then immediately went back to his neutral resting pose. On the morning of Monday, January 7th, 2019, Dana passed away. His mother, his sister, his friends, his family, his coworkers, everybody loved him. Everybody loves him. He was just taken away. I could have seen him the day before he passed. I was closing, but I realized that the time I would have gone to see him, it would have been midnight or close to midnight, and it wouldn't have been ideal. So I decided to pass. I figured I'll see him tomorrow. He'll still be here. But when I went to the hospice center, and I walked down the hall to the room where he was being kept, and I look on the door and I expect to see his name, and I saw a different name. My heart sank. I didn't want to believe it, but I knew. I only knew Dana for 2 years, but now it feels like a lifetime. I've never truly understood that you don't know what you have until it's gone, but now I think I do. I've also never truly understood what it's like to lose someone. When I was very little, my mom lost her grandma, who essentially raised her. My dad lost his uncle. My grandma lost her sister. I had met them all maybe once, was never super close to any of them. I was close to Dana. I'm not sure what the purpose of this is, but Dana, somehow, if you're listening, I want to say thank you. Thank you for letting me be part of your life, and thank you for being a part of mine. I love you, man. And as you always said, spank the kitty. Meow.